I seem to be broadcasting Bridge Strut Blessings 5. Now, my notes are getting kind of murky. I'm not sure what I'm going to encounter. Your assistance in allowing me to read these texts with my eyeballs and to speak it with my mouth so that you can at least hear it. And hopefully you'll be able to see some of it when it comes onto Substack. Is so much appreciated. I'm really grateful that I can do this. I'm really grateful to those who have helped build and maintain as much of the intuitive network infrastructure as we've been able to achieve. It's an amazing disability recovery aid. None of this would be possible without it. I'm going to read to you from these notes. We're going to discover, you and me together, what's in them because I don't remember. Okay, Bridge Strut collaborators. Here's what this $2,500 before 26th March 2025, which is this coming Wednesday, achieves for us. Number one, first, this bridge strut successfully placed restores my access to a vehicle by which I can return to my utterly essential cranial realignment appointments with my doctor, and also helps me resume supplements that I am critically behind on, all of which helps clear my glymphatic system, the brain's crucial detoxification system, so that I can think and work more effectively with text again and in lots of other ways. These appointments for cranial realignment with my doctor are non-negotiable. I should not be having these long gaps between them, but unfortunately transportation became unavailable. There have been problems with the car that I was using. And what we need to do now is we need to keep following up really diligently to make sure that what needs to be fixed gets fixed in the most timely fashion. Something that's very difficult for people with disablement circumstances and long-term injuries to do. I am the one who has to lead that process. I've got to make sure it happens. I've got to find help with various aspects of it. And having enough support so that I can do that is a really essential part of it. These appointments are dangerous for me to miss. And the ways that my functions tank, the ways that physical pain increases, the ways that I end up very disoriented, or I have a number of different problems with other systems in my body, because when you have concussion injuries, it affects your whole body in lots and lots of different ways. And it's only the lack of a safe vehicle that has prevented me from going to these appointments now for, I'm not sure how long it's been. It's been a lot of weeks. It's definitely more than a month. I'm a little bit afraid to look. It might have been 2 months by now. I hope it's not more than that. Painful, painful, painful. Me getting back to these appointments on a regular basis is crucial for my recovery from long-term multiple concussion injuries of the past decade, and crucial for me in order to do my work coordinating solutions in the intuitive network. Number two, second, this bridge strut supports us in continuing research to apply for grant funding assistance, to organize large-scale funding assistance that will help us establish professional incomes for myself and other severely disabled core organizers. Income, you may know, is essential. I'm sure you know this well. And when operating at intersections of compounded economic exclusion, where people have injury circumstances and various challenges that make it not possible for them to find the usual kind of paid work, where people are usually invisibilized or erased, establishing professional income flows means opening up regenerative gardens of amazing solutions as a result. And that is the work that we do here. Work that I think maybe you know this too, if you've been watching our broadcast, work that we're very excited about. So I want to get back to that as immediately as can be possible. And although I've been getting myself through some of it, the circumstance has been hitting me really hard. And so when I'm not on camera, I don't look like this. I'm not comporting myself in this way when I'm off camera. It's taken me out. So here is part of our solutions implementation. I'm so grateful that you're a part of it. I have a number 3. This Bridge Strut also facilitates a key goal of our grant funding initiatives, which is helping us begin to fund the next block of writing, editing, and media communications assistance that is needed in the network to establish income flow. Me personally, and many, many others, we're not able to work with text when we most need to. There are other forms of communications that are really important, like these broadcasts. Like whatever is needed in order to get the broadcast up and make sure that people see it. But particularly with writing and editing text, that's a really major part of this, so that we can communicate effectively with a lot of different people, and we can bring more strategic collaborative energy together to achieve what is most necessary for us all to achieve. The professional income so profoundly warranted to support our groups changes the whole game for all of us who, even without safety or pay for years or decades, in many cases, have been creating resources for community crisis care in one way or another, emergency rescue aid, self-led physical and creative recovery in the intuitive network this past decade, especially. This work is essential for those who are houseless, severely disabled, and preyed upon by criminal elements when they have nowhere else to go for help. We have really powerful ways of addressing those situations, and the funding that aids writing, editing, and media communications assistance as part of that large scale funding that we're working on, that is a really big deal as we get that into place. Number 4, getting this Bridge Strut in place relieves crisis circumstances being experienced by our frontline interim financing collaborators who have risked their own safety in order to assist us to get life-saving intuitive network architecture in place. It's the courage of these frontline funding collaborators that has made it possible for us to obtain and install major medical equipment, fundamental survival supports, and solutions to facilitate thriving in situations where otherwise our colleagues would have experienced permanent severe injury or death. And I am one of those people because of the interim financing brought by frontline funding collaborators. I'm alive instead of dead. And I can say that not only about one instance, but many instances. This has been a foundationally life-saving experience for me personally. With this Bridge Strut, this $2,500 by the 26th of March, 2025, we can ensure that our frontline interim financing collaborators can stabilize the challenges that have arisen for them because they extended themselves to aid the community. And this is how we continue to demonstrate the ways in which we're all in this together and we're looking out for one another. How do we get a solution in place? How do we get a Bridge Strut in place? How do we complete a bridge? How do we grow gardens of nourishment all around that bridge? How do we find one another and connect with one another and help one another? How do we regenerate economic wealth with one another? How do we build really strong communities? That's what we're doing. I have a number 5. It's really short. That all of that 1 through 4, that actually isn't even all of it, but it's a great start. In the next live segment, which will be Bridge Strut Blessings 6, I Can Do This, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our 2025 Q1 goal, January through March. How close we are to actually achieving it when it was profoundly theoretical when we started, and how unprecedented our successes in it already are. So that's coming up next. Thank you so much for tuning in with us.